So I would request Mr. Ranjan Banerjee to give his view and his perspectives from a Bharat Electronics Limited view, and how the entire mandate of expanding the research frontiers of defense research can engage the engineering campuses across the country. Sir.
Thanks to DRDO, sir, and to the organizing committee here. They have given a unique opportunity for us to. It's a unique opportunity for me to be there, where first time I'm seeing not only the defense forces, the DRDO organizations, but also the academia is involved. Primarily, we have been always talking to the defense forces, and the language has become so common over time that we understand them, they understand us. So first time probably I'll be talking to the academia. Maybe it will take some time for them to absorb our worries and the defense worries. But I felt at this stage, before I begin, since it is Kargil Victory Day, I felt that it is with great pride that Bharat Electronics was associated not only in the labs, but in the remote areas also. We were having the sensors 24/7 operational, and we were there with our colleagues in the armed forces, and it definitely was a matter of pride to see that we succeeded and met the expectations of the defense forces. Secondly, I felt that this is an appropriate time because the academia is not conversant with the way we operate or how we are organized. I felt that it's important that an overview of BEL is given. So I will in Dutch, and I hope you will bear with me. Bharat Electronics is a premier public sector undertaking in the field of professional electronics. It was set up by the government of India with 100% equity in the year 1954. Later on, 26% share was divested to public. The company was set up with the aim of attaining self-reliance in defense electronics. Primarily, we are supporting the defense program. The company has grown into a multi-unit, multi-product organization employing around 10,000 people in 9 units. We are pan-India, presence is there. 4 regional offices, 3 marketing offices, service centers, product support centers, 2 overseas offices, one in New York and one in Singapore, 2 central research laboratories, and 2 joint ventures. Our mission was with the core purpose of addressing the needs of Indian defense forces in the field of professional electronics and making the country self-reliant. Keeping this in view, the vision was to be a world-class enterprise in professional electronics, and our mission accordingly is to be customer-focused because we have to deliver to a customer, and to be globally competitive. These are the 2 driving factors for us. I will also like to introduce the 9 units of BEL. I heard some of the people here when we met, what are you manufacturing? Unless they are aware of what products we are making, they cannot interact with us and take up work which is related to research. So primarily BEL Bangalore was established in 1954. Core areas are military communication, radars, naval systems, weapon systems, homeland security, telecommunication and broadcasting, electronic warfare, electronic voting machine, probably everybody would have heard of, and components, avionic products. So anybody interested in those areas can come to our BEL portal and access information on that. BEL Ghaziabad, where I belong to, was established in 74. Major products are radar systems, antenna systems, and C4I. When I say C4I, it's a whole system of systems. It's a complex system where weapon systems, sensors are integrated, and decision support system is provided to enable the battle commander to take charge of the battle scenario. BEL Pune was established in 79. Major products are laser products, batteries, X-rays, systems. And Machilipatnam in 1983. Major products are electro-optic products and systems. Chennai was established in 85. Major products are tank electronics and gun updates. Coming to Panchkula, which was established in 1985, major products are military communication equipment. In 86, Kordwar products are defense communication equipment and telecommunication products. Taloja established to manufacture shelters and masks. Hyderabad to manufacture electronic warfare equipment. And now we have in Singapore, we source the components from Southeast Asia. Overall, if you look at the Bell defense pie, we are primarily into radar and fire control, 33% share, communication equipment 15%, weapon systems 15%, tank electronics 3%, warfare 8%, optoelectronics 7%, and so on. Sonar, SATCOM, these are the various areas we work in. Turnover has been steadily growing. It's now 6,000 crores this year plus. Our strengths are in design and development of systems. We are also strongly into manufacturing. As I said, we can definitely help out the academia if they are interested in testing certain things, like DRDO labs have their labs. We have our also environmental labs, which go into testing products which need to go into the field. So we can help you out in those areas. Manufacturing equipments, and definitely we have a lot of strength in that. We can also help you in product realization of various things which you are prototyping in the labs. We are also into system integration. So anywhere where people are into software or integration sort of fields, areas, we can help. We can take help from them also. Since we have a lot of installations, we are into civil and electrical infrastructure. We have right now 3 major projects which we are doing for the armed forces. One is ISCCS, which is roughly 7,000 to 8,000 crores worth. Lot of bunkering work is there inside it. Lot of research goes into making those bunkers which are to be hardened against attack from nuclear attacks and all. Secondly, we are into TAC-C3I integration for the army. That is, it's a gamut of all components, including surveillance, artillery firing, reconnaissance, decision support, logistic support, name it, everything is there in that. And that is a huge project. It's roughly 5,000 crores worth of job we are doing in that area. Also into tactical communication, that is TCS, we are into that business. And definitely product support and maintenance, as I pointed out, is areas where we have concerns, where we have to do substitutions of products which are from OEMs, difficult to plug in. So those are the areas where we can collaborate and work on. We have got state-of-art manufacturing and quality assurance infrastructure. So this is established there already. You don't have to, you can definitely take our help in those labs and those manufacturing facilities. Coming to research and development facilities, research and development is a key focus at Bell, and correspondingly out of 10,000 people, around 2,000 engineers and scientists are working in research areas. Out of the total sales, 78% is indigenous design. It's not from outside. The total software into all those combat systems is 100% Bell. It's a custom solution for the Army, Navy, Air Force. It cannot be exported and transplanted. It cannot be made that way. It has to be taken, built from scratch based on the domain expertise which we get from them. We have various organizations which the defense forces have. They transfer the domain to us. Understanding the domain takes time. It cannot be developed overnight. It takes years and years. We started our defense programs on C4I in 1990s. It is now almost 3 decades, coming to 3 decades. And now we are able to grasp the complexities of the programs which they have in mind. The systems they are trying to make are unique to Indian environment. There's a mountain, there's a desert, there's a coastal area. It's a huge complex scenario. It's not a situation where Israel or small areas are there. So these are very complex situations we have to work in, environments we have to work in. We have a software technology center in Bangalore, which is CMMI level 5. In Ghaziabad, we are achieving level 3. Our R&D architecture is also 3-tiered. It was told that we should have R&D which is directed. It is definitely directed because we have to deliver products. Secondly, we found that a single tier does not work. So in alignment with that, the first tier is, we have got 9 SBUs, as we say, 9 factories and 20 SBU units. Each SBU has a DNE. So that DNE's mandate is to generate new business by developing new products and obtaining customer acceptance. Their business is to get acceptance from the customer. Provide product lifecycle support and upgrades and develop process and components. They are more closely tied with the user. The second tier is Central Development and Engineering Division, which is located in Bangalore. It supports these DNE SBUs and supplies specialized technology. Coming to the third tier, it is Central Research Laboratories, which I belong to in Ghaziabad, and there is a counterpart in Bangalore. Ghaziabad is primarily software. Bangalore has got more hardware and radio-oriented, communication-oriented, security-oriented research going on there. The mandate there is to generate new ideas and concepts, and that can result in new or improved products. Also, examine emerging concepts and technologies and adapt them for new products. Build a strong base in applied theoretical foundation to support development and engineering. So here again you see that factor which we have said, 20 to 80%. 20% is blue sky research type, 80% is supporting current projects or products which are going to go in line. The first central research laboratory was established in Bangalore in 1988 and in Ghaziabad in 1992. CRL Ghaziabad, where I belong to, the focus areas are C4I system architecture, multi-platform data sensor fusion, model-driven development and configuration management, GIS, system customization. Here again I would like to point out, which probably got missed out, we are importing a lot of licenses are required in terms of Oracle database, even for GIS. We are asking, we had a lot of discussions with DRDO, can't this be in-house developed? Can't we have our own Oracle equivalent? Can't we, that reduces the number of licenses and cost of the product comes down drastically. Maintenance is easy. We don't have foreign dependence. These are factors which we have to look into very seriously, and that for that the academia is there. Because this cannot be done by an organization of our size only. This requires a lot of investment, lot of effort. I think GIS has come out, there's an IndGIS there. Similarly, as I remember with Dr. Sitaram, we were discussing on Oracle, why can't we have our own database? Similarly with operating systems, since there's a threat, security threat for operating systems, why can't we have our own operating system? Again, other areas are radar scan conversion, network management, system health monitoring. Somebody pointed out, for a system to work operationally in the field very well requires 24/7 diagnostics, fault tolerance. These are the areas where we are actively involved in. We have one of the finest fault tolerance systems in the field. The downtime is almost, the uptime is almost 99%. So that's the mission critical systems have to be up. So correspondingly, not only the software, the hardware has to be redundant and designed in such a fashion to support those operations. Also unmanned area operations, like we have got radio sites where people cannot approach, or the battery system has to support operations without too much of manpower going there. Manpower is a crisis for the defense forces. It cannot be deployed, it's not limitless. So those are areas of concern, how we suitably customize our solutions, where the development of products which are unmanned is tremendous importance. Also, we are working on tactical algorithms, persistent database, simulation modeling has been talked about a lot. We are working, these complex C4I systems have to be tested with large complex modeling and simulation systems, where sensors have to be modeled, environment has to be modeled. There's a, suppose you have sea clutter, you have got the various atmospheric bands wherein the meteorological conditions change. This modeling is required. So these are the factors which we require help from the academia. Then real-time data managers, communication protocols, security solutions which are proprietary and high grade, remote diagnostics I have already talked, analytics is where we are going into new, and we are working on defense experimentation and wargaming. This is another area we have recently started. I think US is firmly entrenched in this area, but a starting has been made at our point. We had a lot of people coming in from the IDES, which is the Integrated Defense Support Organization, where CISC also visited, had a look at our system. We are also looking at various sensor integrations. As a research organization, our strength can be demonstrated if we have patents. Last year only we filed around 9 to 10 patents. They are based on gradient and estimation for adaptive analog beamforming, radar scan conversion, and such nature. Awards, lot of awards have been received by BEL in excellence in R&D, professional electronics, DSIR awards, FICCI awards, Raksha Mantri awards. We have bagged substantially. I think last year we bagged the entire suite except for one. Gold trophy for Scope, meritorious award. Scope commendation certificate for R&D. Then Indian Semiconductor Association Technovation Award, Defense Technology Absorption Award. So primarily these show that we are fairly strong and we have demonstrable capabilities in R&D. Coming to how we operate, R&D collaborations we primarily have with DRDO, LRD Labs, DEAL, CARE, CSIR, DLRL, Defense Electronics, DARE, CDAC, etc. They are our strategic partners. We continuously strive to build long-term relations with them. Their expertise in design, development, manufacturing and improvement of our products is utilized to the fullest extent. Now coming to Navy, VESI is an engineering, they have their own establishment for engineering, establishment in, where we, DRDO scientists are also working with them, and we work with them on cutting edge technologies, sensors and weapon integration for command and control systems. Also BEL interacts with the PMOs of armies, that is the DGIS group, where all the tactical C3I systems, the domain is transferred and they accept the systems from us. The testing is done from this. Also we have similarly for the Air Force Directorate. We are looking for the ISCCS, a lot of proof of concepts have been done, and just the enormity of the project, that's the full scale 10 deployments right through the country, which is integrated. We are also looking at the strategic level, not only at the lower echelon formations, even at the strategic level. Collaborative R&D with academia. Some institutes I am naming which we have already got ties with. Konark Institute in Bhubaneswar for nanotechnology. Central Engineering CERI, Pilani for components. Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai for components in infrared photo detectors and lines like that, nanotechnology and microelectronics. Indraprasth Institute of Technology, Delhi for radar signal processing. Indian Institute of Technology for Roorkee for antennas. We also have a very good program for higher studies. We, as a social corporate responsibility, we take on people from academia for 1.5 months to 6 months, even to a year, into our research program, in our design program. They are part of us, they work with us, and in that fashion, when they go back for the BTech degrees and MTech degrees, they are able to understand what the defense forces require. I think directing them more from the academy, from the institutions, giving them more direction, and such long-term associations will definitely help them. Currently, we are pursuing programs with IIT Delhi in image processing, cyber security, radar signal processing, networking, etc. Also, like for the association part, I said Vanasthali Vidyapeeth has been doing for 1 year program. Similarly, we prefer if we have longer durations and associations, which will be more fruitful for the student as well as for the institute in carrying back concepts of defense related design. With that, sir, I'll cut my talk on that, because I believe a lot of things have been discussed, and I'll be there for any questions, sir. Thank you.